here is where we're going to be bringing in the new year. Happy New Year's Eve, Johnny.
Happy New Year's Eve, man. How we doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling like it's good end to the year so far coming in. Really happy to be here with you and with Whisper Nation. Not all my fantasy lineups could be as happy as I am right now, but we find the joy in life regardless of what life might throw at us.
Always, dude. There's always something to be grateful for, right?
Right.
Well, that's what they say. But
there always is. There always is. And you help me find those things to be grateful for each and every single week, Johnny. Appreciate you for that.
You as well. And as well as Whisper Nation. They are a big reason, too, of why we love doing what we do. Hanging out with the peeps. Hanging out with you, Austin. I'm grateful. That's what I'm super grateful for that.
I'm super grateful for that as well, man. And I think that this time of year and end of the year, start of the next brings about some natural as well as some encouraged moments of reflection. We like to do things like New Year's. Some people think they're kind of cheesy. I think they are too, but I also think that they're fine motivational tools to take a step forward, right? Like whatever gets you going forward, be your
whatever
best
gets
self.
The people going.
Everybody's going to be resonating with something else. So I want to know, though, what's resonating with you in terms of a New Year's resolution or something that you're hoping to accomplish, or where's your mindset at coming into this new year in terms of something else you'd like to do?
I'd like to, really lean into enjoying moments more. Like, honestly, like that's something I was like looking back at this past year. I started to do that a little bit more, but I realized like there were a lot of times when I wasn't really leaning into that too much.
Yeah.
And you get to the end of the year and it kind of wears you down. So it's like, nah, I want to start. That's one of my big ones. Just start leaning into moments and really enjoying them for what they are. It sounds
I like that a lot.
That sounds like a mushy thing. I get it, but hey, sometimes we're here to be mushy.
And I think that the question about that, like, maybe it's a little bit more philosophical. Maybe it's a little bit more abstract.
Yeah.
But there's real ways to be, I hear you talking about presence, like being present in the moment. And, I'll say one thing just on that one. Someone very wise, Lindsay Horvath, told me one time, this idea of balance is oftentimes one that actually just kind of limits what we're able to do. If you think you got to be balancing this with that, and there's only so many hours in the day. So it's like, how can I do all what I want to do while also being balanced? That sounds like now I have to factor in more things to do. And overall balance is fantastic, but she said she doesn't strive for balance. She strives for presence. Wherever she is, she's fully present. I'm with you, I'm fully present. And the next, when we do our research, we're fully present in that research. When we're, whatever the next thing is, just to be fully present, not to be thinking of something somewhere else, because then we could show up and get the most out of those moments, which is what I think you were talking about.
Yeah. Full circle.
Hell yeah, man.
Circle, dude.
I think that's
look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, if you liked, if Whisper Nation liked what they just heard,
what about what do you guys think? What are your Whisper Nation? Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions?
Let us know in the comments. Like what any like, I mean, it's fine if you want to, for the people, it's like the classic, I want to get in shape.
I think those are all there too, right? Like, I think we all have our physical goals, our financial goals, our professional goals, and our spiritual goals. And spiritual goals can be like friendships. They can be relationships. They can be these things, but I don't really care who you are. Like, we've all got to have our financial pillar strong, our spiritual pillar strong, our health strong. Like, these are all things that are just universal, It's like, you want to get in better shape, fantasy wise or physically.
Yeah. Hey, and if you want to, get better at fantasy football, hit that subscribe to the channel. You won't. Right here.
Maybe.
Boom.
Well, hopefully they like what they're listening to.
Yeah, hopefully
they want to catch more of this one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Then hit that subscribe. If fantasy football, you want to dive more into the culture, you came to the right place.
There we go.
Here it is. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, Johnny. Well, cheers to that.
I say cheers with the cup of coffee, but hey, it is what it is. So today, Austin, what are we doing here?
we're going to be jumping into the news and notes section here from the rest of the NFL. We're going to go all the way through A through Z. Well, I think it actually ends with W with the Washington football team, but starting off with A through W, working through all of the relevant news and notes and helping you getting ready, Whisper Nation, for your last game. Hopefully you're in the championship. Hopefully you're not playing. Hopefully you avoided the loser bowl, the toilet bowl, the sacco, the J-boned, as we refer to it in our own league of record, because our very first year, Jeremy, whose nickname was J-bone, went 0 for 13, our only winless season in our league's 11-year history. And so we officially named the last place jersey the J-boned. And that is our J-boned bowl. And Zabo, I hope you're well. He took that puppy home. New winner.
Not me. I'm just glad it's not me for once.
Oh my God. Whisper Nation 2, if you've got some great last place punishments in your league of record, let us know. We're always looking to bring in best practices to what we are doing. All right. So speaking of those best practices, you ready to go ahead and take a look at some of these news and notes on the NFL?
Yeah, that's right. That's practice.
We are talking about practice because that's what we have to monitor right now.
You know what's so funny? It's like we cling to that, dude. As you know, people who play the game, we're like, oh, it's all about the practice. You betcha.
I'm actually gonna bring something because I wanted to talk about the shoe here for a second before we really jump into the meat of it. But the practice quote from our boy Allen Iverson, of course. Yeah. I know how big a fan you are of the Iverson sneakers.
Dude, huge fan of the Iverson.
Have you seen they're dropping some new colorways?
Yeah, every time you try to get them, they in 2 seconds. 9.
You're 9?
Yeah.
Maybe
dude, I tried because bro, they came out. This is how much I love those sneakers. No lie. You know, we're Suns fans here.
We are.
Right? Lakers colors don't.
They're losing by 24 right now too. It's horrible.
It's an early game, you know. Yeah, but I love those shoes so much, and how comfy they are that I was trying to get. They had a special Kobe Lakers one color scheme that was a special release. Yeah, bro, I tried to get them. I was going to get, that's how much I love these shoes, that I was going to get Lakers colored ones of that shoe.
You're trying to get the Allen that, yeah.
Yeah, but they sold out the color scheme. They sold out literally. I was in line, waiting online, and within like 2 seconds, I feel like maybe it was.
Were they the ones with the yellow? The ones with the yellow topper or all purple?
The yellow.
The ones with the yellow topper?
Yes.
Yeah, those ones for a size 9 right now. They don't even have them in a size 9 here, but if a size 10.5 would be $425.
Dude, they were 150. They were 150 when they went on. Yeah.
I know. And those are, so we've got like the resale game is obviously crazy.
Yeah.
It's I'm pretty stoked on these ones. The best sneakers pull I've had all time, the best one. I got an early access pass to the Jordan 1 patent breads. If you got any sneakerheads out there, let me know. Would love to chop it up with you on that front. But yeah, I got really lucky these last couple of weeks with 2 hyped releases that I was able to pick up at face value through the Confirmed app for Adidas and through the Sneakers app over there on Nike. Hold on here.
Oh, he's gonna bring these things are so sweet. Like these are sick. Look at those things. Dude,
yeah, man.
You can like see or look at that. Those are awesome.
I know that patent leather is like, it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but like, dang,
dude, man, those are sick. Those are dope.
Yeah, these guys,
you gotta send those a picture of those over to
P Kid. Yeah, P Kid and Pat the designer.
Yeah,
our friends over at Windy City Breeze. That's right. That's a great. I gotta send him a text on that because that's the Chicago colorway.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and that's a sacred
awesome
color combo.
That's an awesome shoe.
And then it's not as hyped of one, but in the Yeezy world, picked up a pair of the Belugas, which came through. Which
rock those off.
Yeah, not little. This is a throwback one, going back to one of the harder color schemes. But another hyped one that dropped, and was fortunate enough to pick this one up in there, and it sparkles. It's a reflective one too. So.
Well, that's wild. Yeah, you can see it reflecting in the background there.
Yeah, you got a little sparkle on it. So I'm pretty stoked on those pickups, man.
Nice.
Johnny, I wish that your favorite pair of shoes wasn't an Allen Iverson model that's so hyped. It's got to be 4 times the retail.
Dude, I know. One. It's insane. That's what I'm saying. That's like a hot shoe. It's like dude.
Well, it certainly is. And as we continue to grow the Fantasy Whispers alongside of Whisper Nation, maybe down the road, Johnny, I'll be able to one of these Christmases pop one of these Reeboks,
maybe
Allen Iversons for you. But Whisper Nation, if you're jumping in and you are new to the channel, let us know in the comments. We'd love to say what's up. Let us know what you need this week coming in. And if you enjoy what you're listening to, we'd really, really appreciate it if you hit this video right here with a thumbs up. And as Johnny pointed out earlier, if you like what you're listening to and you want more of it, you can subscribe to this channel. We're going to be dropping content all off season long. Like, I know that we're coming to the end of the year. This is the last weekend people are going to have before their fantasy championships. This fantasy season is essentially over.
Dude.
But it's not over for us, right?
That's so wild. It flew by. It really did.
This is the last official news and notes episode right now of the 2021 season. Holy cow.
Fun. It's been fun.
It's been really fun, man. But those FanDuel bet slips have been really fun too. And you got that logo sitting right there above your head. And Whisper Nation can join us for all of the upcoming live streams we're going to be doing. We got the playoffs that are coming up. Playoffs, that's right. And we are stoked. You can use the promo code TheFantasyWhispers when you're creating your FanDuel account and get 20% bonus cash on that. Who doesn't like that? Yeah, no, legit. You put in $100, you get $120 right off the bat. So consider doing that. And if you haven't done FanDuel, I'd really encourage joining us for our next live stream, because we're going to build the bet slip from the beginning. We talk through how it works. I was new to this like a couple months ago. So we've been hitting in the green. We've been making money. Been having a lot of fun, and would love to have you along with us, Whisper Nation. So, jumping in though, Johnny, the Arizona Cardinals, the hot name right now is James Conner. Been such a fantasy gift for people this year, but the Grinch kind of came through the Arizona locker room, and we don't know if he's going to be playing. He didn't practice on Thursday. That's James Conner. He's dealing with a heel. This is a second consecutive day, and this does contradict earlier media reports, because Conner was officially a DNP on Thursday. This injury once seemed fairly benign. Conner even seemed likely to play last Saturday, but now he's missed every practice since it happened. He's going to be really, truly questionable going up against the Cowboys on Sunday. I don't know if it looks like he is or isn't playing. It doesn't seem like he's going to be at full strength regardless. No. How are you shaking up this Arizona Cardinals backfield and then the other skill positions on that team?
Yeah, I don't think James Conner will play in this game, especially because it's not. When you're looking at it from a coach's side, right? Like you gotta think that their Cardinals are in the playoffs, even though they're like sliding, right? They're in the playoffs, and so they're probably thinking let's get James Conner some rest. Also, they're getting a really good look at Chase Edmonds, who is also a free agent at the end of this year. So there's been reports that they want to resign Chase Edmonds next year. So it's for them, it's kind of a win-win situation, because they feel confident that Chase Edmonds can be an RB1 in this league, and you're giving him that opportunity, right? And you're also resting your running back that's a breakout running back for the playoffs, which we need him for, or which they need him for. So I ultimately don't think he goes. So I do think this bumps up Chase Edmonds. I think Chase Edmonds becomes a pretty solid play, frankly, and this weekend. And then you're talking about some of the ancillary pieces. I think again, Ertz becomes a guy who benefits from not having Hopkins, and then they'll still check down to Chase. You got a bunch of dump offs, so it's really nice in PPR if you have Chase.
Putting on your Miss Cleo hat, who do you think is the starting running back, or who are we drafting as the top running back for the Arizona Cardinals in the 2022 redraft leagues?
See, I think it depends on. So I think it's going to be funny, because I think it depends on if they re-sign James Conner. So they'll probably try to re-sign him, but it depends. Like if he tries to demand, $5 million a year, which is like top 12 running back money, which it seems very surprising, but
So
like
weird.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if the Cardinals necessarily go there, because I think they're like, okay, well, we could get, Chase for $2 million, and and then go with Eno. But
Or maybe draft somebody.
or
There's a
draft
lot of
somebody. Correct, right.
yeah.
So if that's the case, then I think Chase Edmonds would be higher, fourth, fifth round again. But if they do resign James Conner, which they're going to try to, then I do think James Conner will be where you were taking Chase this year, maybe a little bit higher, maybe third round, because he did score so many touchdowns. Some people will bite on it. And then I would think that Edmonds would actually become the value then, similar to how James was the value this year.
Yeah, a lot of things to monitor for Arizona, both this week and for the future. And if you are making some last-second decisions, be sure to tune in on Sunday morning's live lineup show at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Going to go over all of your fantasy-related questions to help you get your last potential lineup set going into Week 17. Moving over to the Baltimore Ravens, where the quarterback has been a question the last couple of weeks, it's looking like the answer in Week 17 is going to be Tyler Huntley. The Athletics' Jamison Hensley said that Tyler Huntley is trending towards starting in Week 17 against the Rams. And this is also because Lamar Jackson was seen limping over at Wednesday's practice, hasn't been seen since. This is not good for the young signal caller or the Baltimore Ravens, but they might have some pathways ahead. Tyler Huntley, last time we saw him, looked really good. How much confidence do you have in the skill positions for Baltimore? I'm thinking of Mark Andrews mainly, little Devonta Freeman as well, and then Marquise Brown, who was absent from Thursday's practice. He was sick. It's the second time in 3 weeks that Brown has become questionable in the late due to illness. Wasn't because of COVID, so that's good. You hope he has enough time. But the big impact here is Tyler Huntley, and then what he does impacting Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, Devonta Freeman. What do you think, Johnny?
I think Huntley becomes an interesting play, right? I think it is a little bit risky, right? That Rams defense is pretty stout. They can't, I mean, he's probably going to throw a pick or two, you would think, because of those corners. But Huntley, the thing is Huntley looked good. He's looked good when he's played. I think there's going to be a lot of teams trying to get him in the offseason because he has looked good. So this will be a fun matchup. I'm really excited for this game. I think Mark Andrews is safe, especially when you're talking about any type of kind of rookie or new quarterback likes to go. And, Mark Andrews is been really carrying some teams over the last few weeks. So Mark Andrews remains a must start for me. I don't know if I necessarily start Bateman. I mean, you can throw on the Rams. You certainly can. But, Ramsey, it might be Harbaugh might, be like, hey, we're not going to go towards Ramsey if we have Huntley as our quarterback. They might just try to stay away from that. Or, vice versa. If Brown ends up playing, then Bateman actually might be a little bit better if Brown ends up taking Ramsey's side. So,
pay attention to that illness then. See how he stacks up coming in. Stephen Nathan, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the show.
What's going on?
Now, we're going to be getting to all of the questions by the end of the show. Fantasy relevant questions connected to the subject at hand we'll try to plug in, but we just are getting rolling here, Stephen, and it's awesome to have you here with us. So let's go ahead and plug one in here. What up, guys? What up, Stephen? Is it Stephen or Stefan? I hope I'm saying that right. Mr. Nathan, do you think Howard plays this week? If he does, is he even worth a start, or should I go with Scott regardless if Howard plays? What do you think about the Philadelphia backfield right now, Johnny?
Yeah, I would just roll with Scott, to be honest with you. We know that Scott's workload is going to be relatively safe, right? He'll get dump offs as well in the pass game. So if this is any kind of PPR, Scott would instantly become a better play because he's going to get that receiving workload where Howard doesn't get that. So that's honestly where I would just go. I think Howard plays? I do think he does end up playing, but I do think going into your championship game, Scott is the safer play and has just as much upside, honestly, in my opinion, as Howard. Because they'll use Scott around the goal line as well. Right. So it's not like Jordan Howard immediately. And if Jordan Howard's a little banged up, then they'll
right. It's like it's kind of a toss up, even if they're both on the same footing, but they're not even. So I like what you're saying there about Scott. You know, I like what they're saying out of the Buffalo Bills camp about these returning weapons for Josh Allen, Emmanuel Sanders. He's questionable for week 17, logged 2 DNPs on Wednesday, so status seems truly in doubt, but he is at least on the uptick after missing last week. And then we get Cole Beasley, who's been activated off of the COVID list. And we also get Gabe Davis, who's activated off of the COVID list. I mean, you know, you love to see Isaiah McKenzie coming in, catching 11 to 12 targets for 125 yards and a tutty going up against the Patriots. Probably fading your Isaiah McKenzie deep dives. Are you picking up, or are you not? What do you think?
Well,
we got
no. All I was thinking is, if you're in Dynasty, if you're playing Dynasty, it's nice to, like, I wouldn't let him go because, you know, I wouldn't drop him simply because you've seen him play well with Josh Allen. So, you know, and I don't know how many years he has left necessarily on his contract. Right. But you at least know he's a good wide receiver, right?
Yeah,
so
you do.
So that's just the added. But if you're in a,
and Emmanuel Sanders is 34. Emmanuel Sanders is 34. Right. Like, I don't know if we like Cole Beasley, that whole narrative keeps going, but like Gabe Davis is one of those dudes that you could be like, Gabe Davis plays for the Browns now? Weird. Or Gabe Davis plays for the 49ers now? Weird. You know, all of a sudden he's like one of those names that's just like gone.
Well, and I honestly think next year you could see the 3 wide receiver set be Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Mckenzie.
Not bad, right? Yeah. I think that's an entirely a possibility. Some rotation that's going to happen in Buffalo. We got some rotation, Johnny, happening in Carolina as at the quarterbacking position. We've had that going on all freaking season, spinning like the Patreon wheel next week when we select the winner for that Elijah Mitchell jersey. Shameless plug over there for our jersey, our signed autographed jersey giveaway, where the first Monday this month, or I guess first Monday of this month, January. Yeah. So we're going to be giving away that jersey at the 2-minute warning. And we've got about 12 Patreon subscribers right there at that level, or give it or take, which means you got a really good shot at actually getting that jersey. And you can subscribe at the $10 level right up until we do the drawing. And then you'll be entered into that raffle. You'll also get some sports card giveaways. You're automatically entered. We're going to be doing those next week too, as well as bonus content and extra things throughout the season. So really encourage you to consider subscribing at the $10 level over on patreon.com. Just search for The Fantasy Whispers. Really, really appreciate that, Johnny. And I know the Panthers would appreciate getting some strong quarterback play. This week, the candidate is going to be Sam Darnold. He's back. Matt Rule announced that he's going to start week 17 up against the Saints. Got to also say that Chuba Hubbard, lowest rushing yards over expected per attempt this season. Not looking great from next-gen stats. DJ Moore's hamstring.
I was so excited for Chuba coming out of college. He was my real talk. He was my second favorite running back behind. Well, I like Javonte, but I was a Stevenson truther. Like, I did like Stevenson before the season when he was coming out of OU, and Chuba was up there. I thought he was going to be really, really good, and it's just not performed this year. But it could be partially he's a rookie and he's getting like a lot more usage, but also it's just a little bit bummer that he couldn't take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to see what kind of opportunity Andy Dalton can take advantage of in Chicago, because he's going to start week 17 up against the Giants. It seems like Nagy's just being nice, given that it's going to be a nasty, rainy game coming in. Is this Matt Nagy just moving around the peas on the plate so that he can paint the reasons why he didn't actually win?
That's got to be it. There's no other. They've been saying for 2 weeks he's been close. Dude, are you kidding me?
I said this a couple weeks ago, bro, that it's like Nagy is, he's not trying to win the game. He's trying to create reasons why he shouldn't be fired.
We need to get Pat and P-Kid on to discuss this and because this is serious conspiracy theory that I actually think, because Fields' last 2 games, he balled out. Like, he was really good. And so now that he has that now, and he's like, yo, the last 2 games he played,
I don't think it's an illogical line of thinking, Johnny, to be like, if you're Matt Nagy and you're looking at the way you debuted your highly touted rookie quarterback, Justin Fields, where I saw Dan Orlovsky on ESPN say this is the worst game plan he has ever seen devised by an NFL head coach. And I didn't see anybody really disagreeing with Dan's comments on that, right? So if you're sitting here getting credit now for orchestrating the worst game plan for a rookie quarterback of all time, and then all of a sudden that rookie quarterback starts looking pretty good, and it's kind of like, why didn't you put a better game plan together, bro? I need a head coach in here who knows what the hell is going on. And if I'm Matt Nagy, I'm smart enough to see that, right? And so you're like, well, let me maybe obfuscate the picture a little bit so we can say, well, there's a lot of things we liked about Justin Fields, but some other things we didn't. So that's why we were doing all this jibber jabber and back and forth nonsense. And it's really just trying to buy himself shelf life.
Here's what's sad, and here's the reality. He's got 3 things that he can majorly hang his hat on now, right? Like, okay, 1, hey, I've got a winning. Okay, 4. Hey, I've got a winning record overall as a Bears head coach. 2, I made the playoffs 2 out of 3 years, 2 of which were with quarterbacks I didn't want, and then the 3rd year was with the rookie quarterback, which brings me to my 3rd point, in that rookie quarterback went from showing a lot of flashes in the preseason and getting a lot of hype. Then we held him back, we threw him in there, right? And he wasn't ready, got injured. Then we put a better game plan because we built it around him instead of him, and this is where he's going to use that Andy Dalton argument. We built this offense originally for Andy Dalton, and then we put Fields in. And then once we, decided to go towards Fields, we built this around Fields. You saw his upside. His upside was what, we were winning and competing, right? And then it's like, and then he got injured, so I was forced to do this, and I didn't want to put that quarterback in jeopardy.
I think he's
Yes. Yeah. And his final, just real quick, his final argument to put it on top of it be like, you look at the indication, and even Coach Hugh when he was on said having rookie quarterbacks switch programs is not a good. It's not good, especially when they're already like, hey, is this guy going to work out or not? And then you're giving them a bunch of new offenses to try to learn around and new offensive coordinators. So those are the 4 main things I think he's going to argue. Now, are those going to convince? It wouldn't convince me if I'm the GM. I'll tell you that. I'd be like, you're out. If he was the GM of my fantasy team, I'd be like, you're out, Nagy. Like, I don't care.
I know. I think it is. I think that he's playing games to try to buy himself time. He's not actually trying to win games. I want to get Pat the Designer and P-Kid on here again so we can run this by them. What's up? People joining in. Scott Cobe, what's good? Mr. Kev 06. We're going to be getting to all of the questions by the end of the show. But if you got some relevant ones to the topic at hand, plug in. Scott, I see your question here on Denver. We're on Dallas, Denver, and the alphabet comes very soon after. So we're going to get to that one in just a second. But quickly touching here on the Dallas running back, Ezekiel Elliott. This is like an interesting piece of news. I almost skipped over it, but I'm like, no, I think it deserves to be said. The top news line for Zeke, and this popped up on my Sleeper app. It's leading on NBC Sports Edge here. Next Gen Stats measured Ezekiel Elliott as posting his fastest top speed since week 6 and week 16. I do, Johnny, because when it's impressive, like Leonard Fournette doing 21.5 miles an hour, which led the entire NFL 3 years ago, I think that's actually pretty impressive. But then when I read that Elliott posted a 17.88 miles per rush, and that's his best since week 6. Like, I love that it's his best, especially because he's like had good weeks, even though he's hasn't been 100%. That's not crazy fast though.
No,
and I'm liking him this year. I guess we're gonna talk about this week. Who do you recommend starting out of Dallas? But my main thought on this one is like Zeke might have bought himself one more year, but I think the clock is ticking on him. If his fast, like I don't think that he's going to be a shiny piece for your team next year.
Yeah, if you're in, where do you think he goes next year?
2nd round. I think someone reaches. I think someone in your league reaches for him and takes him like in the back of the 1st, middle back.
Back of the 1st is okay because I still think in this offense, I think he'll get one more year of back end production, and then it's like in 2 years. Yeah, it's a good offense, and it all depends on, does Tony Pollard go somewhere else? Because if they don't re-sign Tony Pollard, I'll tell you he'll still be up there because the production is and then they'll probably get some other running back as
well.
well.
Here's a question for you before we move over on to Denver now. I was going to say next year redraft with what we know right now. Like, would you rather have, say, Javonte Williams or Ezekiel Elliott?
Is Melvin Gordon there? If Melvin
Gordon's not, let's say he's not.
If he's not, I'm taking Javonte. I want because and I would expect,
how high does he springboard up? Are you saying that he's a first round talent now?
Oh man, this offseason is going to be wild.
That's what I'm saying.
Because also, does Denver get a quarterback? Either Russell, do they somehow land Aaron Rodgers? Do they oh my gosh, if they get Aaron Rodgers, dude, Javonte would jump up. Like I think Javonte could be top 3 to top 5 if he's alone.
Well, we saw like you and I both like Javonte Williams over Najee Harris coming into the start of the season. Like from a running back metrics perspective, we obviously like Najee Harris in redraft formats more this year because of the lack of competition and the perceived opportunity load he was going to get, which he got and then arguably exceeded. Javonte Williams, though, is like the most elusive back in the NFL, or top 3.
Dude, he's
in terms of like yards after contact, broken tackles, and that's what we expected out of him. And then he's doing it, which is like, okay, this is real then. You know what I mean? It's not a fluky kind of thing. You thought this is what he was going to be, and then he's exceeded those expectations. So it's like, and
imagine, like, dude, if he gets a quarterback that they'll get in the red area a lot more, and he's good around the goal line. So, dude, he could be a very good pick next year.
What's up, Professor
He's probably going to be in the early running for. You're going to probably hear his name a lot as like.
He's going to be? He's going to be that guy that when we start doing our mock draft.
Drake? Is he the Kenyon Drake?
No, I think he's even more than that. I think he's probably going to be like, well, I think this is you tell me after this. I think he's going to start off going in like the top of the third when we do our mock draft starting in like January, February, March. Okay. And then I think you'll see that continue to rise, and someone's going to be like, yo, I'm drafting at the back of the first, and I got no problem taking Javonte as my like.
Maybe like the Antonio Gibson of this year.
That's what I was going to say.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And I don't think it's a bad call.
No, I don't think that's a bad call at all.
As long as Melvin Gordon, we'll see what happens with the rest of the back over there. All right, we're getting over now to Scott's question here, because we're going to bring up the Denver Broncos right now. Cortland Sutton is on the conversation block here, according to Mike Killis over on Twitter. Sutton is out for week 17. Vic Fangio told reporters he may be added to the COVID list. So we got Kendall Hilton, Seth Williams, Deontay Spencer at wide receiver because Jerry Jeudy himself is on the COVID-19 list. This wasn't a high volume passing attack. Yeah, they're going to have less to rely on. So I guess this is a meaty subject here. What do we think is on the docket for the pass catchers in Denver? Are you going to Tim Patrick? No, you're not, because he's on the COVID-19 list too. So then what are you going to do? Are you going to roll with Kendall Hilton, Seth Williams? What do you think, Johnny? And then I think we're going to enjoy a perceived uptick for the running back position, Gordon and Javonte Williams, right?
Yeah, I think that they're the two that if I have to, like you're in a deep, Kendall Hilton would be the guy that I'm a little bit more interested in. We have seen him pop off before. But I don't trust that. Like you said, were we starting any of these guys before? No, unfortunately. Like it wasn't high volume. The ones that you were targeting are Melvin and Javonte. And I think that you're looking at this matchup against the Chargers. How do you attack the Chargers? You run against them. So those are the two that I'm looking to start here.
Yeah, I think that's a good take on this one. And everybody else here, Mr. Kev, Juan, man, it's great to have you with us. We're going to be getting to all of the questions by the end of the show, fan if desperate. If you hit us with a question related to what we're talking about, we're going to try to plug that into the show right then. Otherwise, sit tight, hang with us. We'll get to your questions at the end of the show. And if you're in a run, you got to go, though. Hit us with a 99-cent super chat or whatever your heart is encouraging you to do. And we will get to that question then at our next immediate opportunity. Johnny, the Detroit Lions' next opportunity to play DeAndre Swift, it looks like it's going to happen. He's going to be active. He's going to be in the game. You love to have that as a fantasy manager. If you've drafted DeAndre Swift, watch what he's done. Then been disappointed. He's been out the last several weeks. He's going to be in and rolling against the Seahawks.
Yeah, well, potentially, right? Like, here's the thing. Goff isn't going to be playing this game. And so, I mean, hey, like, he's been out all this time. Let's play him. But I don't know if they necessarily give him a huge workload due to the fact that what's the reason behind it other than like you want to win the game? Like,
yeah.
I get that as like, and I hope that's their thing, right? Like that would bring a lot of respect. I think. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we got a guest. We got another guest host.
We got a guest host over here.
Kitty goes, man. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Mishak
hey,
over here trying to get some camera time.
Fucking love that cat so much.
Great cat. Yeah. So again, this will be something like I'm sure more and more news will come out. I'm sure we'll get more updates from beat reporters and stuff on the exact workload. But what I've seen so far is they're not projecting him to get a massive workload, even with him coming back. So I have some concerns at starting DeAndre Swift, but again, it's a very nice matchup against Seattle. And you could definitely see them just trying to run and get an ugly win that way, you know?
Yeah.
I might need him because of, dude, with some of this news that is coming out with like all these other running backs, man. Gibson.
I know, right? We'll get to the Washington football team news at the end there, but like so many pieces of information coming up. I was fading out a little bit because I was reading the next headline for our subject coming up.
Yeah, sorry, and switch the gears real quick, but yeah,
no, I mean, we're switching gears a lot, and wild. Often, and a lot, regularly, and we're turning gears a lot this day and age. COVID's having a big impact. The world is shifting. Things are happening. And the fantasy season marches on,
Ronald, though. Crazy days. Like
it is, man. But it's great to have a solid community to be able to ground yourself to. I know that with you and with Whisper Nation here, it is seriously such a blessing to be able to navigate through these crazy days, as Professor Ronald says, with a bunch of awesome people. Speaking of awesome people, well, I'm not going to go with that segment, actually. Speaking of people, we've got Aaron Rodgers saying he isn't ruling out retirement for next season. I'm just enjoying this season for this season. Dude. And playing next year will definitely be in the thought process, says the immunized. Rodgers says he added that he doesn't want to be a bum at the end of his career and wants to go out at a high level. He also stated he won't draw it out for months and it'll be a quick decision.
Oh, yeah. So here's what we do know. It won't be a quick decision. It will be drawn out for months. And he loves this.
I'm getting these freaking Brett Favre vibes.
No.
Right now. Oh, no. Yeah, dude. Like, so
he retires, he sits for a year.
No, not that part. Before that happened. Before he was sent off to the Jets, because he was given every opportunity to hang around. Mike McCarthy said, and this goes back for years before he officially was out of Green Bay. Favre is like, I don't know if I'm going to retire or not. You know, if my heart's in it, my heart's in it. I'll let you know. I'm just going to keep doing what I love to do. And we're like, is Favre coming back? I don't know. And then Favre's coming back. And we did this for like 2 or 3 seasons. You know, football players used to retire earlier. And so like he hit his earlier mid-30s and it's just like, I don't know. And then finally he's like, I'm done. And Mike McCarthy's like, okay, we've done this dance a few years now. We love you, Favre. You're our dude. You're our quarterback. But we got Rodgers here. He's the heir apparent. You tell us when, though, we need to level him up because it's your call. He's like, I'm done. They're like, for reals? He's like, yep, I'm done. Bring in Rodgers. And they're like, okay, cool. We love you, man. We're going to retire your number. We'll see you at the Ring of Fame ceremony. Best of luck. Bye. Rodgers, you're up. They jumped through that. I don't know. A handful of weeks later, Favre's like, I want to come back. I'm back. And they're like, no, you're not. Not with us. Like, we wanted you to. But it's done now, and that's when it got a little salty, and it broke.
Like,
and I give kudos.
We moved on.
Yeah,
it's like when the ex like breaks. It's like when you're like, hey, should we break up? You guys are talking about it, and then finally you're like, hey, we should just do this.
We gave him every opportunity,
and then you realize you're like, hey, no, actually, I love that person. You try to go back, but they're like, yo, I'm moved on. I got a new boyfriend. I got what? And you're like, what? No. Oh, that's interesting.
No, it was. And they gave him every chance. It was like, are you sure? He's like, I'm sure. They're like, are you double sure? He's like, double sure. They're like, for sure. Kiss the envelope. He's like, yep. And then he came back and they said, nope. And which I give the Packers front office so much credit for. on that.
Yeah, that's I didn't know that. So kudos to them.
Because we didn't know Aaron Rodgers. This was before Aaron Rodgers had ever won a game.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Do you think Rodgers is kind of doing this knowing that? And hoping that they come out and they're like, we're trading Rodgers because they're like, yo, we've moved on.
No, I honestly
blame
don't
it on them.
I think anything is on the table, especially with somebody who has as much mental capacity as Rodgers does.
He does,
but I know, but I don't think that's really where he's at. I think he's in a woo-woo wellness type of mindset where he's kind of like, he's a smart dude who's like walking a spiritual path, which is going to lump in a lot of kind of weird stuff with the rocks he's turning over and looking. Do I think that he's getting inspiration or lessons from the way that Favre did it? Not totally. It's definitely planted in his brain, because how could it not be? But I think it's just what happens when you're like the shit. You're a multiple MVP champion, Super Bowl winning quarterback, and you're coming to a point where you get to call the shots. And you're like,
here's the thing. I think,
and he's not Tom Brady, so he's kind of a shitty dude.
But Rodgers knows what he's doing. So he's doing this because he enjoys it, because he's like figured out how to maneuver the media in a way that always keeps them talking about, not to say that, I mean, he does have some of an ego. I mean, he does have an ego, but I'm just saying, like, I don't necessarily think he's like always concerned about every single day people talking about him. But I do think, he likes when people talk about him. So he knows what to say and plant in order to
That's a great point.
That cheese, the proverbial cheese there in front of the mouse to keep them kind of. But he knows that. I don't know. I do think he knows ultimately what he wants to do. I just think he's just trying to keep people engaged and like show how much he can be a puppet master,
I don't think you're wrong on those. I think those points really hold merit. We'll continue to monitor this story.
He's definitely going to be like a podcast guy after he's done with football. There's no way he's not.
I mean, he might, or he might just keep a guest segment on a couple of places. I don't know if he's going to want to commit to his own type of situation. Maybe he does. Maybe he just keeps showing up on Pat McAfee's, Yeah. He's going to keep being a media personality, though. That guy loves to talk. The guy wants to be the Jeopardy host. Like he's a communicator. He enjoys that. He's going to keep that going. We'll see what medium he takes on moving forward. James Martin, it's great to have you with us. Yeah. We're going to get to your question here before the end of the show. If you got any fantasy relevant ones to the topic at hand, we'll plug it in right then, or hit us with the super chats. We'll answer it right away. But we're going to keep moving through to get all the way through the slate of news and notes. Right now, we're on the Indianapolis Colts, where quarterback Carson Wentz could be back. We don't know yet. I'm speaking on Wednesday. Head coach Frank Reich told reporters that if Carson Wentz clears protocols on Sunday morning, he will start in week 17 against the Raiders. He's a quarterback. He's not trying to run that much. Conditioning isn't going to be as huge of an impact, but this could have an impact to your fantasy team, Johnny. Anybody that you were kind of on the fence about that this news kind of pulls you back from, or are you starting with confidence your Indianapolis skill players?
Major one's Pittman here. I think, obviously if Wentz is playing, you're more confident playing Pittman. If Wentz isn't the quarterback, then I would expect a lot more Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. So it does I do think it does affect this game quite handedly, to be honest with you, as to what their game plan is.
Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where, oh man, my dude, pour one out. Achilles, James Robinson. Dude. Yeah, man.
Seriously, that sucks.
Sucks hard. And we got to know, though. Next man up.
For a guy like him, man.
I know, James. I know.
Because it's not like he has the high draft pedigree to fall back on. You know what I mean? It's like, but hopefully it's like Arian Foster. He's done enough. He's won the hearts of many people. So, and myself included, he's
a good running back.
He's a good running back. He's fun. And I just hope that one, he gets better, and two, that this doesn't tank him because he's
right. Because he might not be back for next season either.
Right.
It's an Achilles. It could take a long time, but he will heal up, hopefully in the 2024 season. He's going to be probably around 25. This could be one of those pickups. It almost reminds me of possibly like a James Conner type of guy, where like he comes in and he's like, he's younger than you thought, You know,
Right,
he's going to be like
exactly.
a 25-year-old with actually not that much tread on the tires because he's going to miss a whole season. And the last time he played really good. And then all of a sudden, a team like the Cardinals or the Patriots or some bullshit like that, they come in and scoop up like an RB1.
Dude,
you know, that kind of comes out of nowhere.
Probably what it's going to be like.
Yeah, probably something like that. We'll wait and see along with you, though, in my dynasty team. Love him. Missed you, dude. Him and Derrick Henry, no fun. Moving on to I guess, and there's, I mean, does it even matter who's going to replace?
Well, Dyer Ogunbowale, if you need you're desperate and you need a running back, he is someone that you can pick up and plug your nose and play. He'll get, dump offs, and he should get enough usage to be a solid play.
Yeah.
Low end RB2, but.
And those are those moves that can actually end up happening, right? Like they're going to run the rock. You might not have ever said this dude's name in the last 12 months, but he's going to come in and like, these are professional athletes, even if they're unfamiliar, like they're going up against possibly unfamiliar defenders also.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah. And Dyer's gotten some, like, he's a good pass catcher. Like he played with Tampa Bay and stuff. So there's a lot worse you could do than starting Dyer this week.
Most definitely, right? Yeah. Going over to Kansas City, where running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not been practicing. He's dealing with a shoulder issue. Andy Reid noted that he's not ruling Edwards out just yet, and that he's comfortable playing the second-year running back without him practicing. Also noted that Jerick McKinnon could be activated from the injured reserve if Edwards-Helaire is unable to play. This would come on Saturday, that activation being, how are you looking at the running back room over here?
I'm not buying it. I think he's sitting. I don't think he plays this week. Why?
Why?
You got Williams. He produces when CH has not been in the game. So it's like I don't think CH plays. I think this is a whole smoke. Like trying to mislead, trying to gain a slight advantage by having that team try to prep a little bit of their time for CH. That's all.
I think you're right,
Daryl, with confidence.
There we go. Keep monitoring, though, because we'll know more as the information comes out. And if you tune in Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, that's 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, going to have the live lineup show. Johnny's going to be covering all of your fantasy-related questions with all of the available information. We'll know a little bit more then. So we'll be able to give you answers with the most available information at our disposal. Got some more information here on the Las Vegas Raiders tight end Darren Waller. We thought the Raiders. We thought Waller was coming back. Then he got COVID. He's not going to be playing this week. Josh Jacobs, so I got to give you a shout out. You've been pushing Josh Jacobs, 27 rush attempts, 129 yards against the Broncos.
Let's go.
You firing up Jacobs, you firing up Hunter Renfrow. Not as much of a PPR appetite last week. 3 targets, only 40 yards. Did get that tutty, though, which you like. Think he bounces back this week? Waller still being out? How do you...
Yeah, I think it is a little concerning, but I think defense. Denver Broncos are we're a pretty stout defense. So it's a little understandable, right? But it is nice seeing that he got into the end zone. So, and I think he does have a bounce back week.
All right. Yeah. We're going to see if we get a bounce back or bounce in, I guess, from Mike Williams, wide receiver for the Los Angeles Chargers. Johnny, who got activated from the COVID-19 list, missed a really good matchup last week against the Texans, and now he's going up against the Broncos. Not as solid of a matchup from a fantasy output perspective. We also got Austin Eckler activated from the COVID-19 list.
Oh,
we're obviously putting in Austin Eckler with glee. You feeling Mike Williams in this start?
I'm not necessarily loving the play because you know what you're going to get from Mike Williams. There is a potential that he could have an up day, but he's just, his floor is small. So going into championship week, I don't necessarily know if I want to play Williams, but depending on what you have, you might have to. But I'm starting Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. This is big news for him, so I like that.
And I like seeing Mr. Bezerga jumping into the chat. Yeah. What's good, Mr. B? Great to have you with us. We're going to get to your Jets question here in just a second. We're at the Los Angeles Rams, LMN, New York Jets. We're getting up there. All right, so Los Angeles Rams, though, the news out of the Rams room is that Cam Akers, Johnny, you were on this one. Sean McVay admitted, like that verb, admitted it was unlikely Cam Akers plays in week 17. He's dealing with an Achilles comeback. We knew this. It's going to be the Sony Michel show. Yeah, don't. Sony Michel took what do you have? 27 yards, 27 carries for 131 yards in the tutty last week.
He's been balling out. Been balling out. You look at since he's been replacing Henderson. We did think. I personally thought that this would happen earlier in the season, but it didn't. Henderson was filling in and he was playing well, but then once Henderson went down, Sony has been killing it. If you were able to pick up Sony, he has led you to a championship this far, and I think he continues it this weekend, and I'm playing him. And how wild is that, dude?
No, seriously.
Sony Michel.
Glad to, and that's what we're saying, dude. Like these guys come in that maybe you haven't spoken their name all season. Maybe you've spoken their name with tinges of disappointment.
We whispered his name.
And then we whispered, "Don't play Sony Michel" for a while, like when he was sucking. But you need to reassess every opportunity. Like, bro, I get the pull of like wanting to just rely on earlier takes. Like it takes more mental energy to like process a situation as fresh and organic and give like an authentic take on it. And like you have to, though, when you get news like Darrell Henderson is on the IR and Cam Akers isn't coming back. Like it's Sony Michel then, right? Like, and he's kicking ass. So it doesn't matter what he did earlier in the year. It doesn't matter what he did 2 years ago when he disappointed you with the Patriots. Like he's rolling.
He's rolling
out.
Yeah. You won't.
How about that Rams defense? Would you start them or Miami?
Ooh. I really like Miami's defense this week, but hold on.
So for context here, we've got the Rams.
I think I'm playing Rams
against the Ravens and likely Tyler Huntley behind center.
I think I'm playing Miami.
Really? You like to play them going up against the Titans this week instead of the Rams?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think, I mean, there is potential there, right? That Huntley does throw a couple interceptions. I think he'll get sacked. I think it might be the safer play, but Miami has, I think, the higher upside. I think you're right. Tannehill, no Derrick Henry still. They've been playing really, really well as of late. The Dolphins have. They're another one of those defenses.
I know. Only team to go on like what, a 6-game losing streak and a 6-game winning streak?
Dude,
seven,
so wild.
Actually.
So wild.
Pretty fun.
Good for Tua.
Good for Tua. Good for Waddle.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. Oh, Waddle. Dude, I love Waddle. I was so disappointed I didn't get him.
It's a super fun one over here. Yeah. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to have a different quarterback behind center, and his name is Sean Mannion.
Ooh.
He's going to start week 17 because Kirk Cousins has COVID. We got Dalvin Cook, though, full participant in
Sean
practice
Mannion
yesterday.
Sounds like a boy band name.
Sean Mannion. He does, right?
Someone from a boy band.
Yeah, he was the understudy for One Direction, I think, for a little bit over there. But now he's going to be starting for the Minnesota Vikings. And do you still
be your understudy for your fantasy team?
He could be. Should he be, though?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. It's hard to say with these guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's Sean Mannion's like? What has he done in this world?
I mean
Sean Mannion.
He's a backup quarterback, so he's definitely had. I'm not. He's been in
the season. He's been in the league since 2015. He's never in 2017 with the Rams. He threw 37 attempts, had 22 completions, 185 yards. He's never thrown a touchdown pass, and he has 3 interceptions to his NFL name.
Well, there you go.
I'm not feeling stoked.
Not going that way. It's no Mike effing White, dude. That's not.
Doesn't look like he's bringing that energy.
Do you think? Hold on. Real talk now. Yeah. Like we've seen it from multiple. Do you think? Well, I guess Huntley's going to be. I'm really intrigued by Huntley this week. I hope he balls out because that's good for like. But was the Mike effing White an anomaly? Did you just get like lightning in a bottle that game?
No, here's what it is, bro. Here's what it is. Yeah, well, kind of. Here's what I think it is. It's people, right? Like some people are able to bring different perspectives.
People.
That's what we're doing right now. And like it's some people go for it. And other people are a little bit more cautious. Some people are more pro risk. Some people are more risk averse. Like you all line up somewhere you do. And like when you're playing quarterback, right? Like you're sitting back there and you have a choice. You can say air it out for 50 yards or hit the check down. Like the quarterback gets that call. Even if you're in practicing, this is this, like there's how you work it through. You as the human being become the decision maker and you say, am I going to chuck this freaking rock and let it fly and see what happens?
Air it out.
Or am I going to go for the safer route?
We're playing
and that comes down to the individual. Right. And that comes down to the individual sometimes. And like sometimes what you had for breakfast can make an impact on that. But you can usually look and see what type of person they are. And like Mike Effin White is the guy who's tweeting at Peyton Manning being like, I'm going to break your record. You know, when he's younger, like he's just got that.
It's got like so it's almost like a Gardner Minshew kind
of
thing.
Yes. Like
would you rather
he's gonna
have,
go for it.
Gardner Minshew or Mike Effin White?
Gardner Minshew's been able to do it now in different spaces over in a more extended amount of time. Like Gardner Minshew's shown me that while he's wild, he's at least like able to keep it going. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't have a large enough sample size on Mike White yet, but like there's just some people who go for it and some people don't.
I wish Gardner Minshew were just slightly better. I mean, he's pretty good. Like, I'm not down, but it's
I know,
like,
no, I know what you're saying.
He has such good swag that would be like, if you were just a little better, then it would be like, dude, he could just take the whole NFL by storm.
Right. You got
like, he's already he did that, but then it was like, he didn't have enough to like,
got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, especially at the quarterbacking position. Like maybe at the wide receiver or running back, or you have less to mentally juggle all the time. But it's like hard to come up with your next like one-liner when you've also got to like motivate every single person on the team. Like exactly. It's a big challenge. And we got what's that?
Sorry, Mr. Benzerka, but the weather is horrible in that game. Yeah, that's great. You want horrible weather
in the Miami game?
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. Is that what he's talking about for that Miami Titans game?
Yeah.
Horrible weather is the best thing for defense.
Exactly. You want the uglier the weather, the better.
I'd even take a bad defense.
That's kind of like
I'd take a bad defense playing in horrible weather over a good defense playing in good weather.
Exactly.
Because the ball gets slippery, people just mess up. Like shit just happens.
Yeah.
Football's such a fluky sport anyways. All you need is a little bit of extra moisture for that backup center to throw the ball over the quarterback's head. And then picks it up, and now you just made your day on one play because the weather was a little weird.
I think they did a study. I don't quote me on this, but if I can recall correctly, the only weather type that actually helps benefit the offense more than the defense is snow. And it's not like snow coming down. It's like a
certain type of snow.
It's like when it was like remember with the Reggie Bush or like Reggie Bush slip.
Like there's snow on the ground, but it's not snowing, so they can catch the ball, but the defenders can't stay as tight on the receiver.
Right. Or they're slower, but
the
it's
jukes.
like easier.
Everything's the offender, the person initiating the juke has a significant advantage because your reaction time is way regressed in the snow because you're on skates. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
So
that makes a lot of sense because it's like when you're playing the walking, like we played, at our draft this year, like the walking passing routes on the corners. It's not about the speed. It's about the responsiveness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, walking football is
fun.
Fun.
What's not fun is Nelson Aguilar dealing with a concussion. New England Patriots wide receiver is going to be out week 17 against the Jaguars, but you do like that Ramondre Stevenson came off of the COVID-19 list. Damian Harris had a really solid week. So how are you kind of shaping up now with Ramondre Stevenson, who was kind of earning the role, but Damian Harris now took it back. Yeah. Nelson Aguilar's in there. Haven't been a big fan of the New England pass catchers. They're just kind of like a conservative offense, more or less.
Yeah, I think I'm lean. I think Harris has this. I think as long as he's healthy, he's the number one. But I do think Stevenson will get some opportunity. He might see 8 touches or so. Now, does he score in that time? I wouldn't like to, gamble on that kind of workload and trying to aim for that upside. But there's always that potential on any given play. And then, I think you hit it on the head. It's just, Jacoby in some cases, PPR, he's been somewhat okay to play. But again, the upside doesn't seem to be quite there because he just can't get in the end zone quite enough.
Question coming in from Hector. What's good, Hector? Hope your Friday's going well. You trust Lamar playing? No, we don't. Because I don't have the backup, Tyler Huntley. That's not good. Should I start him if Lamar doesn't play? We both like Tyler Huntley starting. Like, if you can start Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, but but if you can't, or pick up Trey Lance, I'd pick up Trey Lance.
Garoppolo out?
Yeah, Garoppolo has the thumb.
So then Trey Lance could be nice. Who would you rather play, Tyler Huntley or Trey Lance this week?
I would do Trey Lance simply because of matchup. The matchup is better for the 49ers this week. And so that's why, and Trey Lance is going to run a lot. So that's the thing. It's like Huntley will actually.
Huntley had COVID, right?
Yeah, Huntley had COVID.
I'll say this. Like, we heard that Tyreek Hill was a little bit gassed playing so soon after getting activated off the COVID list. I'm not concerned that much about Carson Wentz playing activated COVID because he doesn't run. He just throws the ball. Huntley, though, is going to have – he's going to be huffing and puffing.
He tries to run, but his ankle –
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I like Trey Lance, too. I like Trey Lance, too.
Yeah, I like Trey Lance.
Speaking of mobile quarterbacks, Johnny, Saints quarterback Taysom Hill, he got activated from the COVID-19 list. So was Trevor Siemian, sending Ian Book to the inactive list. I wonder if that was hard for Sean Payton to do after throwing a pick 6 on the first series. You liking Taysom Hill coming in this game? The Konami code has been pretty alive and well when he's been in.
Yeah, except for 2 weeks ago when that Tampa Bay game was just horrendous all the way around for everyone. But yeah, I think Taysom Hill's fine to play this week if you need him. And that's he's either on your waiver or you had him stash. Again, we know what his upside is. He usually is. I think that was actually the first time that he wasn't a top 12 quarterback, if I can recall correctly. So I think he becomes a play depending on who else you have at quarterback this week.
I like that take on this one. I don't really like the takes that we're getting out of the New York Giants wide receivers room. Haven't all season long, though. This party at the crack house just don't stop, man. Kadarius Toney's got a shoulder. He's not going to play in week 17. Darius Slayton, he's on the COVID list. Saquon Barkley, he's coming back. He's got an ankle issue. What's new? Getting in a limited session. I mean, just stay away, right? Saquon Barkley's probably starting for you. It looks like he's going to be playing. You put him in your flex spot. You plug your nose. You hope for a flashback. Yeah. Is there anything else to keep in mind?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm with you.
Yeah, I know, right?
I've had so many questions where I'm like, how we say like, in most cases I would start Saquon still, like, or like he's an RB2. But I've gotten so many questions from people who have Saquon and they're like, it's Saquon or whatever, and it's usually the other player because it's just like that's just type of year it's been.
Right. If you're gonna ask me like Saquon Barkley or some guy who might not play, like Saquon Barkley for sure.
Right.
But there's not a lot of starting running backs that I expect to get volume that I'm putting behind Saquon.
Yeah.
All right. Moving over to the other football powerhouse in New York, the Jets. Jamison Crowder, he's got a calf issue. He's listed as doubtful. That's not going to be great. Elijah Moore is out. I'd love to see his up-and-coming season this year. Is going to have to put a cap on that, though, as we're not going to get any more Elijah Moore sample. Tevin Coleman, he's on the COVID-19 list. I mean, we talk about, like, there have been points to be had. Michael Carter has been a dude. He hasn't been one in his last game, but like he might get a little bit more opportunity with Tevin Coleman being on the COVID list. And then Braxton Barrios has been a name we've spoken a lot about. Actually, he started off a little bit hot, and then he'd had some plays in the last couple of weeks. Any elevation though to the point of recommendation, or is it just a kind of a fun storyline to check in and out when they pop?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that the secondary part of it.
Yeah.
I think Michael Carter, you could play. I do think that he is a play this week, depending on who you have. But as far as wide receivers, this is just unfortunate because it's like Elijah Mitchell or Elijah Moore.
I know, dude. It's so fun, man.
Dude, he was just blowing up, and like
he should be doing what Amon Ra's doing right now.
I know.
Like that's like it's so good. Like
next year, frustrating. Yeah, next year I'm really looking forward to some of these wide receivers next.
I think Elijah Moore's going to be a sleeper still too, though. Like,
No,
I think Moore's going to go way
yes.
slept on because it's going to be like he didn't finish strong. When you
It's
look
the
at his
Jets.
ranking, he'll probably finish in like the 30s or the 40s or something like that. Like, he's not a sexy number. He's doesn't play for a sexy team. We don't even know who his quarterback is.
Right.
You know, it's like, but he's good.
Well, we do know that. I don't think they'll move. They won't move on from.
You hear him with Joe Flacco? You think Joe Flacco's going to stay this guy?
You don't think Joe Flacco? Oh, I see what you're saying at that point.
Like, I just, Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But yeah, Michael Carter is, an RB, a low end RB2 for me this week.
Yeah, I like him in redrafts moving forward too. That should be kind of a fun,
sneaky
one too. Another kind of sneaky guy, like a Drake, maybe a little bit of a Chase Edmonds type.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and that's probably where he's going to be going. Is probably, 5th or 6th round, maybe. I mean, he'll probably start around 8th. He'll probably start around that 8th round, and then by the time next year's draft, he's going to work his way up because people are going to remember the hype.
Good question here from Stephen or Stefan on this one. Mr. Nathan, would you rather start Taysom or Huntley? Taysom Hill, Brian Huntley. This is a really good question.
I would go with Taysom.
I think so too.
Yeah. I'm really intrigued again in Huntley, but again, it's a little bit more difficult matchup against the Rams.
Smaller sample size.
Yeah. And it's just, I feel like Taysom has the safer floor. And I said that last time and it screwed me, but
yeah,
that's what we do.
That's what the logic is pointing at. Doesn't mean that's the way it's going to go, but this is the way that we're reading the logic.
Yep.
The Philadelphia Eagles running back Jordan Howard. He's questionable for week 17 with a stinger. Nick Sirianni, Eagles head coach, said the team is going to make a decision on Howard's status in the next couple of days ahead of the week 17 game against Washington. He'd be splitting carries with Boston Scott if he does. I think Scott would become an RB1 in 12 teams if Howard is sidelined. What do you think? We've also got to mention that Jalen Hurts is limited during practice, but it's looking like it's the same process. It looks like what you got out of Hurts last week is what you can expect moving forward. And then we've got Miles Sanders, of course, got a broken hand. He's going to be on the IR.
Yeah.
Boston Scott seems like a great start to me. I'm Dallas Goedert as well. Devonta Smith, kind of in that flex consideration still. What do you think?
Yeah, he's still, I mean, we know what the upside is. It's, he's going to be a really good wide receiver. Talk about another player that we're excited for next season and potential draft. I think he's going to be one of those guys that I'm looking at where he's going because when they target him, he is phenomenal. And it's just whether or not he gets enough targets. And I think that he can potentially in this matchup against Washington. I think that he can be a what the heck flex if you need him, but it is a little bit more risky.
Dude, this next section here, this is kind of crazy. I'm getting a little emotional. You can see it in my eyes right here. It's just kind of crazy. It's a different era, man. I'm moving over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Where the big news here, Ben Roethlisberger suggested that week 17, he's not my boy, but it's just a piece in history that we've been. You don't put that shit in the air, Johnny. Big Roethlisberger is not my boy. But it is just a moment. It's just a moment in history over here that Big Roethlisberger suggested that week 17 against the Browns will likely be his final game at Heinz Field. The line comes here saying Roethlisberger is usually one to tease his retirement in hopes of coronation at the end of every year, but all signs point towards Monday night truly being the end of the 39-year-old's career at Heinz Field. Expect a standing applause from the crowd in Pittsburgh, no matter the final score. Roethlisberger's last game will take place in Baltimore, week 18. This is a guy who won multiple Super Bowls. I remember being at John Huppenthal, my oldest friend who I met when I was 4 years old at his house in Tempe, Arizona, when Big Ben made it to his first Super Bowl being a rookie. He would have been the first rookie quarterback all time to make it to the Super Bowl, but he didn't start week one. He didn't start week one. He came in for the guy, whoever was before Big Ben, however many years ago that was. And he played
2003, I think.
Started week 2.
Sorry, no, 2007.
Long time ago. No, older than that. Way older than that, I think. I mean, we're going back like 18 years.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, 2003.
He's 39 right now. So, Big Ben's first game, if he was like 22 when he started, that was 17 years ago.
Right.
So, we're looking at, Yeah. So I mean, I guess in high school. It was in high school. So, over at John's house and just looking at Big Ben making it to the Super Bowl as a rookie. Watching him beat our Arizona Cardinals, in another Super Bowl. Like, it's just an end of an era.
We don't talk about that. Yeah, 2004 is when you're right. Yeah, 2004 is when he got drafted for or in the NFL.
I mean, he's an iconic player.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be what's interesting is he didn't. I mean, a lot of people figured that this was going to be his last year, but yeah, it is kind of. And then what is Pittsburgh going to do? I think they become a really interesting team in all these like quarterback talks and things like that. But
dude, I think they get better right away. They get better right away with whatever they decide on.
Dude, seriously.
Here's
the thing. Do you think he
draft someone?
The thing is he didn't quite turn into Noodle Arm 2.0 like Peyton did, but he was pretty close. Like it
al
was
dente arm.
Yeah, it was al dente arm for sure. But yeah, it'll be cool seeing, hopefully they win. And I guess they're supposed to do a little montage or something for him. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it's just I've watched him. That's how wild it's been. It's been like I couldn't remember not watching him for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it was Deuce Staley was the quarterback before him. Maybe I don't know, something like that.
On that one. It's just crazy. It's just
Leftwich, maybe I don't know.
Might have been. It was crazy though. It's certainly an era, and for all of his critiques, right? Maybe a little less fair, maybe totally fair, maybe even deserves more. It's still the end of an era, and he will have earned that standing ovation in Heinz Field from the Steelers fans for sure.
Yeah.
Moving on here to the San Francisco 49ers. We talked a little bit about Jimmy Garoppolo and dealing with that thumb. Didn't practice on Friday. Now missed practice all week. Not looking likely to play up against the Texans.
You're out.
Exciting news for Trey Lance, right?
Yep.
We also got Elijah Mitchell. He's been limited. Step in the right direction. What you got to take is Elijah Mitchell. That's sexy color rush jersey autographed there that we're giving away next week. Is he going to be playing?
I don't know if he does, which sucks for our jersey giveaway. But I do. I mean, if you have Wilson, I would play Wilson. But if it's this close and they still haven't, and it's not looking like he's going to play, then I'm not. I wouldn't be playing him. I don't think he plays. I think they go Wilson.
Whisper Nation, tune in to the live lineup show Sunday a.m. and we'll have some more information and be able to provide some insights on recommended starts for the 49ers backfield because we got to get a little bit more information coming out. But that's what the tea leaves are reading right now. Moving on to the Seattle Seahawks. We've got Adrian Peterson. He's on the IR. He's been dealing with a back issue. And Russell Wilson. Nothing super noteworthy for this upcoming week. He volunteered.
40-year-old running back is having a back issue. Right? Surprising. Surprise.
Who do we start this week over in Seattle?
Penny.
DK Metcalf, are you putting him in? I mean, Penny looks nice, right?
Penny, yeah. Penny, we talked about this. Penny kind of reminds me of Feast Mode.
Yeah. But if you get opportunity,
Feast Mode, Eddie Lacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. But I mean, he's been pulling out. So, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Keep him in your lineups and get it going. You're probably still starting your other studs over there, even though they've been disappointing. Like DK Metcalf's been a bummer, but it's gonna.
Yeah,
who you get?
It's against
you want to know
Detroit, so
yeah.
Like I would start. Like you asked me, like this is how crazy. Like you'd say if someone asked me, would you start Saquon Barkley or Rashad Penny this weekend? I'm starting Rashad Penny.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
All right, moving on here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans listed as questionable. This is an uptick he's got a hamstring issue going on. He's pursuing his 8th straight 1,000-yard season in his 8th career. He needs 101 yards over the next 2 weeks to get that mark. It's a little bit of a cheat. So I hope he get 101 yards in this first one, given there's an extra game this season. But something to monitor. Mm-hmm. We'll see how that hamstring goes over the next couple of days. We've also got Antonio Brown. He's got an ankle. He's going to be a game time decision in week 17. We'll see about him there. Godwin's out.
They came out and were like, hey, this ankle injury was more serious than we thought. And it was like, what? Yeah, this is definitely something you'll monitor to see. Hopefully AB does end up playing. We'll see if he
fire up your Gronk stone no matter what. I think AB will be in.
I think AB will be in. You're really hoping AB is in because it's a great matchup. He should see 10 to 12 targets, maybe even more. He saw way more last week. And then Gronk, you're playing Gronk.
I think Evans kind of plays too, dude.
I don't think he's good.
I don't think he plays hard.
No,
I think he steps out there,
dude. I do think he steps out. That's why I laugh because you say he needs 101. Like I do think he steps out there and like he's like super just a decoy for most. But then there'll be like 2 plays where they'll be like Brady's gonna
like
be
40
like,
yards.
yeah, he's gonna be like, just give me all you've got on these, and I'll get you. So just so you're just like, okay, then next week, because next week you should be able to, and we'll get you whatever else you need. And so
I think you're right.
so
Because Brady's in on that stuff too.
dude,
Like Brady knows the milestones, the markers,
dude.
like the payment
You
bumps.
don't
He
think
goes
he
for that
wants to
shit.
be a part of that? Being, putting that.
He said he
on.
wanted to
Look,
make Mike Evans a living legend. Like, that he does.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and players love to, when you're iconic like that. Like, another thing you hang your hat on is just like how much you've gotten other players paid. Like that's another
It's
thing
an extra feather in your cap.
Like, yeah, it's like LeBron.
No
if you
doubt.
look at like what he's gotten players paid, it's like ridiculous. Like
Aaron Rodgers, with Randall Cobb.
Exactly.
Came back.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Same kind of stuff.
Yep.
And Ronald, you are totally right here. I think we're saying feast mode. Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, no, feast mode. Yeah. Eddie Lacy. Yeah.
Moving on now to the Tennessee Titans, where AJ Brown returned to practice on Friday. Happy to see that. Yeah, so AJ Brown's in your lineup after seeing him finally. AJ Brown. I'm glad to see him going to be back out there with another opportunity to AJ Brown.
Yep.
Julio Jones, take him out. He's on COVID. You don't want to mess with him even if he wasn't. Other skill positions that you're giving substantial consideration to out of Tennessee. Are you starting Hilliard, McKinnon, Foreman?
No, I mean, Foreman is like, he keeps getting the goal line and getting a touchdown, which bails you out. I mean, it's nice, but it's risky for sure. But I think it's an okay play this week. If you need to play Foreman, it's really nasty. I don't know.
Temper those expectations.
Yeah, it's you've got to have an RB3. He's like a mid RB3 for me. So
I'm with you on that ranking.
Yeah.
Last team on the docket before we get to all of your specific questions. So if you got more questions for us, Whisper Nation, throw them at us in the chat, and we're going to get to all of them right after we talk about the Washington football team. Johnny, where Antonio Gibson was put on the COVID list. Dude, kudos to frickin' Antonio Gibson for playing this whole frickin' season on a destroyed shin, and like he's just like hustled hard, man. I think he's actually going to be a slept-on candidate for next year. And I'm going to be that fool who like takes him in the back of the first this year. And I'm just like, watch, he's going to do what he was supposed to do. And then he's going to break his other shin. But no, neither here nor there. Antonio Gibson is out. What does that mean for the running back that you should consider starting for Washington? And then, just to say out there, Curtis Samuel's got a hamstring, so didn't practice. If it's a hamstring or a groin, it's a lot of soft tissue issues. Not his year, unfortunately. We're going to get Tyler Heinicke probably starting. Heinicke is going to start, but Kyle Allen will probably play. Okay. I think you roll Terry McLaurin out with the inconsistent quarterback play. Like, he's shown an ability to get it done with anybody, but if he can get 5 catches or more, he's got an 80% chance of breaking 100 yards. So you just hope that he can get 5 catches thrown his way. But who do you start? Gibson's out. McKissick's on the IR. Is that Patterson day?
Patterson is the play for Washington at running back. And then you talk about Terry McLaurin, man. I don't. Do you play him? Would you? It's unfortunate.
It's just like a which. It's it's a either or. He moves right now. He's like a wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Me. So it's just, do you have a better wide receiver 3? Like that's kind of where it's at right now. It's just, I like Terry McLaurin, like him a lot, but I don't like what's going on.
And a more consistent guy. That's what you really want and hope for.
Yeah, because the man is an absolute beast.
Over this offseason, please get Terry McLaurin a quarterback.
Free Terry McLaurin.
Dude,
well,
serious.
We'll see it. But Johnny, we are free from the news and notes because we got through the whole section.
Oh yeah.
There we are. Hit it with the Tina dance. On this one, it has been great with you, Whisper Nation, to make our way all the way through. And if you have stuck with us here and you haven't hit subscribe, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's also a favor for yourself on this one to catch all of the live content coming your way pretty much every single day. And if you could hit this specific video with a thumbs up, allow us to grow this show and connect with more people out there. would really appreciate that. But Johnny, here we got a question: do hooligans fans in American football like in European football exists? And if you do not know, then you will know that fans in Europe are very crazy. We've heard they're very crazy.
Yeah,
heard they're wild fan.
I don't know if we have anyone that like sets off like flares and stuff, because that's like Have you seen?
We haven't gotten there yet. I know
we haven't
so
gotten
wild.
quite there, like with like the gas bombs and stuff that they have too, and like it gets wild over there. We don't have quite that, but like we have stuff. I think the Bills are probably the craziest fans, right? Or like when you
Raiders
talk about
sometimes, at least back in
Raiders
Oakland.
sometimes.
Legion
Yeah,
Stadium's
but like
kind of nice, so they don't let you get as wild.
right. So they just like go through tables and stuff. But I mean, as far as like people getting mad and upset,
We love
about
the
their
fan
team,
energy though, man. We love
yeah,
it. We
it's
love
great.
people getting all wild about it. Mr. Kev coming in here on Twitch. We love to
what's
see
up?
that over on our ASMR channel over there on Twitch. Start Wilson Jr., Deonta Foreman, or Ogunbowale from Jacksonville. I need to pick one, and this will likely determine my championship game win. Whoop, whoop. My other starters are Jefferson, Adams, Deontay Johnson, and Austin Eckler. Wilson, Foreman, or Ogunbowale?
Ogunbowale. I'd probably go Foreman out of the
If we know Elijah Mitchell's out,
I know Elijah Mitchell is out, then I'm going with Wilson for sure. But if Elijah Mitchell ends up playing, then I would go Foreman. Yeah.
I agree with you there, Johnny, 100%. What's up, Juan? Do you like starting Antonio Brown, AJ Brown, or St. Brown? You got 3 good Brown receivers this week. Got Antonio Brown.
I hope his team name was "What Can Brown Do for You?" I hope that was what his team name was.
I hope he's from Cleveland too. So if we got Antonio Brown's in with an ankle, we got to monitor that situation, right? And then AJ Brown is back where he's feeling good. St. Brown's kicked ass with multiple receivers. So we like this. Yeah. I mean, I love Antonio Brown if he's healthy, but he's still dealing with an ankle. I don't think I can start him over AJ Brown. I don't even know if I feel comfortable starting him over St. Brown. Do you go AJ Brown, St. Brown, Antonio Brown? Or does Antonio Brown jump St. Brown if Antonio Brown is ankles and he's playing?
I would if Antonio Brown's ankle is fine, like we come out, Sunday morning again, tune in, and we'll have like a definitive, we'll know exactly where he's at. But if they say he's like suiting up and there's no indication that he's going to be limited on snaps, then I would play Antonio Brown, because we just know he's linked with and a great matchup against the Jets.
Yeah,
I think you're right. And because AJ Brown is against Miami, so it's just a slightly more difficult matchup. But that I would still roll AJ over St. Brown still, because AJ Brown is he's a beast. He can literally. I mean, we have seen St. Brown over the last couple of weeks.
St. Brown is clever and sneaky and quick and stuff like that, but he's not going to just like destroy you.
Yeah,
the way that AJ Brown and Antonio Brown is so freaking psycho and like weird and shit, and like him and Tom Brady like link up in a very special way. We got Godwin out. We got Evans dealing with a hamstring. Antonio Brown, like I don't care about the COVID card. I don't care about like the legal issues. Like if he's in and his other wide receivers are out, Tom Brady's going to want to win this game, and he's going to go to Antonio Brown.
Yeah, like if you ask me right this moment, like what Ron has here is kind of how I would have it ranked as of right, because I am concerned about that ankle. I want to find out a little bit more. But if it comes out Sunday morning, hey, it's an injury, but it's something he can play through, then I'm like, okay, give me the matchup in AJ Brown or Antonio Brown over AJ Brown.
I'm with you. James Martin, what's good, man? Needs to start 3. T. Higgins, St. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Van Jefferson, Kareem Hunt, and Brandon Cooks.
So I'm starting
T. Higgins for sure.
I do really. Is this PPR?
Let's assume half point.
Half point. Okay. So I'm playing T. Higgins. I'm playing Amon, and then I would probably play Van Jefferson.
It's between him and Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
That's where
I think I'd still go Van too. Yeah, we get some really positive reports out of Kareem Hunt in the next day. It's just he's coming back, but I don't like what's going on in Cleveland.
And did you see what happened to Baltimore's corners this past weekend? I mean, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase went off. So,
yeah, I like Brandon Cooks in spaces too, but I don't. He's coming back from COVID,
and based on all the ancillary pieces you have here, I like the other pieces slightly more. I think
I agree. I like seeing Whisper Nation coming in here and talking about it as well. All right, moving on. We talked about the Miami Los Angeles Rams defensive match up. With Cousins out, do you like the Packers defense over the Eagles defense this week? Ryan wants to know. I do like the Packers defense with Cousins out, because we just broke it down a little bit there on Sean Manny, and this guy's got 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions over 5 years.
Yeah, I do like them. Yeah, I would actually play the Packers over the Eagles this week.
And who do the Eagles play this week?
Washington, which we know Washington's bad, but again,
they might just just scale it down
over this guy. Like I would rather take Heineke over this guy. So
right, Ian Book showed us why you start the defense opposite, of a quarterback that the team starting him didn't want to start.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. We talked about, would you start Taysom or Huntley? We both liked Taysom. Steven, thank you for the pronunciation.
Yeah,
sincerely, I really appreciate that clarification. Steven Nathan, great to have you here with us. Out of all my current flexes, which one might be the best play? Half point PPR, Ayuk, Tony Pollard, Dare, Scott, regardless of Howard's status.
Dyer, I think. Yes. I would go with
Scott.
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Of course.
Like it.
Yeah. Okay. John A. asking pick 3 non-PPR standard. Nice. Deontay Johnson, Mike Williams, Devonta Smiley, Devonta Parker, Russell Gage, Antonio Brown.
Okay. I would go with Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown as of right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, non-PPR, and I'm going Devonta Smith. Those are the 3.
Oh, not Devonta Smiley. Devonta Smith. Yeah. I like that too.
And I like Devonta Smiley though, because you smile when you see this guy catch the ball. Have you seen him on some of these plays?
I'm going with that stack too. Deontay Johnson, Devonta Smith, and Antonio Brown. Russell Gage would be my next one. There, he's been kind of doing it.
Yeah,
he's been my boy.
He got up last weekend, dude. I didn't check out because we are normally live now when they do the You've Got Moss thing. I hope he made it on there, because he had a You Got Moss moment. I was like, this dude needs some kudos, because he got up there over the corner and just snatched it for a tutty. So that was really cool to see. But,
that was really cool to see, man. And it was really cool to see all of you, Whisper Nation, here spending New Year's Eve afternoon with us. Best of luck in your matchups. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to this show and subscribe to this channel, really appreciate if we got to have you in Whisper Nation. Keep it going through the rest of this season. We'll be up live on Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then we're going to be getting to some of the playoff games, doing our fantasy lineups through FanDuel. And so those are super, super fun. Keep that week 1 feeling going all season long. Did we get through all of the questions too? Oh, Ron,
yeah.
Rieger over Justin Jefferson, and JJ Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf.
Oh, he's talking about the Eagles receivers that they.
Good point. JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Guy haunts me.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, man, we got through it. We got all the way with it. Another Friday. Love it, man. Love you. Love Whisper Nation. Any closing words?
Nope. I hope that. Well, I say nope, and then just that. Whisper Nation, hope you all have a wonderful and safe New Year's. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Get an Uber if you need to, or have a DD. And Austin, love you, man.
Love you.
Appreciate you all year long. This show was awesome. This is a lot of fun. Stick around, like Austin said, though, because we're going to be having content going all through the offseason that you will be able to be a part of, as well as some really fun things coming up on the slate. So
got
stick
some
around.
Giveaways and whatnot too. Subscribe over on Patreon to get a chance to win that autographed Color Rush Elijah Mitchell jersey. We're going to be giving that away on Monday.
Monday. Join the live.
Yeah, we talked about Matt Nagy's. We have a larger conspiracy theory around Matt Nagy doing what he's doing with Dalton and Fields, and the game plan shifts back and forth.
We had a good one on that one.
All right.
I'm definitely making that a clip for sure.
Please do. We got to bring Pat the designer and P-Kid on and talk about that one, air it out. Well, as Johnny said, Happy New Year. Be safe. We'll see you on the other side. I'm Austin Sear. That's Johnny Game Time Hicks. We're the Fantasy Whispers. We're out.
Peace.
Right here.
Oh, hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you like what you saw and you want to learn how to dominate your own draft and win your own league,
right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.